All right, here we are, Steve, talking with a dad, episode 2. Steve, sponsors.
Amazon, thanks for sending over those lovely packages. I'm not sure they were mine. They had some other people's name on it. But we want to thank the Velasquez family for being so generous with their toys.
Oh, man, I figured I'd throw him for a loop in that in the cold open of the show here tonight. Episode 2 of the Talking with a Dad podcast. I'm Zach. That is Steve. Welcome to Gaming with a Dad. Yeah, here we are.
Here we are.
So we do these on Friday nights. Fights got pushed up to Friday night this week, presumably because college football's on Saturday nights.
Correct. And UFC does not take precedent over football
or
as
ESPN.
of yet.
Right. And
correct.
Probably never will, especially college football in this country. It's kind of crazy.
Yep.
So we're doing this late. We're doing this after the fights. Do we want to go over the fights quick before we get into our actual podcast topics, since there won't be a UFC episode?
Fights. What do I know? So I got home late from work.
Honorable mentions. Macy Barber looked really good. First round finish.
Yes.
Looked really good over an opponent that wasn't that easy, actually.
No. And big ups to the other young lady, because she rolled and pulled guard, and I was like, well, that's the fight. And I was convinced, and Macy got up.
Roberts,
and
right?
Yes, I think so. And she got up, and she was able to defend that very slick roll into a possible takedown. And yeah, she looked good. Only thing is, like to see her tighten up her striking. Again, she'd probably come down here and beat me to death in this basement in Ontario, Canada.
And he has this weird door behind him in Ontario, Alberta, British Columbia.
That's where all our guest hosts are going to come out of right there. Like, John Jones!
Goose kicks the door and is like, what's
up? she looked good, dude. I just like to see her not wing her hooks as much. But I know she's generating a lot of power, but she looked good. They are in the, what division? They are 125, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Right. So it'd be interesting to see her. Now, here's an interesting thing. I would like to see, if they're going to fast track her, I would definitely watch a fight with her and Karate Hottie. And let me make my case before you say she's going to murder her. If Karate Hottie is going to stay in the division, she's going to have to beat someone ferocious, right?
Right.
And really make her mark. So I would like to see her go against Karate Hottie. If not Karate Hottie, I would like to see her go against Angela Hill, who's also kind of, kind of streaking, has deadly striking. Actually, Angela Hill in a stand-up fight, she can hurt you.
Yeah, for sure.
She can hurt you bad.
Kill me.
Yeah, she again beat me to death in this little basement. Other notable mentions.
Joe Lozon had an amazing win. Had a very convincing. That was a really weird body lock he had him in. Right? It was. I know DC kept calling it a half Nelson.
It was a half Nelson.
And he locked it in really well.
He wrenched his arm really good.
Pierce flipped over and actually looked like he was going to get a dominant position. And Lozon threw his legs out, caught his arm actually mid-transition and locked it in. Then threw 3 punches and then grabbed the armpit on the other side. And he was never getting out of that. That was a...
No, and he took a lot of damage really quickly. Started showing really quick. And
Joe did get caught with a really stiff uppercut early on. I don't know if you caught that or not.
I didn't see it, but I watched it on the replay. Yes.
Yeah, he had an exchange. It was like very quick, and he got caught with a stiff uppercut. He actually got hurt from it. If you notice, he got hit. He backed up, but then Pierce didn't come in hard enough to.
And then Lozon caught him with a sloppy cross, which had enough power on it, pushed Pierce back, and then that was the fight. So that was my my notable mention. Joe Lozon, glad to not see him go out on his shield. I feel as if, though, the way he was talking, he feels like he can make a run at it.
I don't
and
know.
Hopefully not.
So that's the one thing about Lozon. Lozon's a super smart guy, right? He was, before fighting in the UFC, he was working as a comp sci, as a computer science. I think he was a computer engineer for a company before he actually took UFC seriously. So he's an intelligent guy. He's taken some damage over his career, but not enough to where he's like punch drunk like some of the other fighters.
Especially considering some of the he's been knocked out brutally in his career.
He's been in some wars too. So I'm excited to see what Joe does next. I would be entirely supportive of him if he were to retire. And I'd like to see him fight again, especially if he's going to win like that.
Yeah. I think his future is definitely more in the training side. Hey, real quick,
His gym
notable
went.
mention.
His gym won out the entire night. His
Yeah,
gym didn't lose a fight.
but here's the thing. Notable mention, not a fighter, but represented the fighter who lost. Dean Thompson, man, coming out with his girl. The only what was the young lady's name that fought? That got finished by homegirl we were just talking
By
about.
Macy Barber, it was Jillian Roberts.
Yes, Julian Roberts coming out with Dean Thompson from American Top Team as her only corner man, and that guy.
Really, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, they were talking. They actually brought it up during the fight. And if you don't know who Dean Thompson is, man, shame on you. Go out and check his career. He's actually currently on that not contender series, looking Dean and White looking for a fight. But hey, man, Dean Thompson. Anyone that's worked with him has done really well. He was actually working with Amanda Nunez. She's champion now.
Yep.
Worked with Tyron Woodley. He was champion. Dean Thompson, I believe, was considered for Coach of the Year or won Coach of the Year. So notable mention to Dean Thomas. Like that guy a lot. Hope his girl gets back on the horse and comes back soon.
Just want to correct us here. It was Jillian Robertson, not Robert.
Yeah, there we go.
Don't want to get that wrong.
And then who else? And of course, we got to talk about the main event. I guess we have to. Chris Weidman got put to sleep.
Steve called this.
I called
Maybe
it.
in a video coming out this week. I'm not sure. And we definitely have had that conversation a few. And you even texted me right before the fights came on. You're like, I'm scared for Weidman. So
it's not like Weidman isn't a great fighter, man. But I don't know what it is, man. I've seen him take shots prior to Yoel and the Luke Rockhold fight, but every shot after Luke Rockhold seems to put him down.
no one fights the same after they fight Yoel.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's very true.
No one fights the same after they fight Yoel. Pre-Yoel, Robert Whittaker destroys Adesanya.
Yeah.
I'm throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Hot take.
So those I don't want to stay too long on the fights. And hey, you know what? I'm glad they got Bruce Bufford out there. Showed Chris the respect he deserves. I don't. Did Chris retire after the loss, or
I shut it off as soon as he got knocked out.
Okay, was he alive after the fight? Jeremy Stevens, Yair.
That was a good fight. That was like legitimately what made this card for me. Other than Joe Lozon winning, I'm a huge Joe Lozon fan.
Right.
Other than Joe winning, that fight was amazing. He went. That was a 10-8 round two.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
He was dead.
Yeah, he was hurt.
I don't know what. I don't know who was on the phone with that ref during the match, but he was like, "Don't stop this fight. Do not stop it."
You know, Jeremy whispered in his ear, he's like, "Hey man, I know you're gonna want to stop it if I get hurt, but just let me die in there."
This guy will kill you if you stop it. Even if
I talked a lot of shit to this guy. You gotta let me die in there.
Dude, if that goes the full five, I think Stevens actually finishes in the fourth. I think he finishes that next round.
Next round, he definitely would have kept with the grappling and finished him off. And Greg Hardy, greatest to ever do it, gets another win.
Oh man, Inhaler Gate.
But hey, guess what? The commission's the one that approved that.
That's what the cornerman said, but then the
No, they checked it after the fight, and they checked it, and it was the commissioner.
But the like assistant executive of rules or something came on during the broadcast and was like, "That just broke all the rules. We don't know what to do." And then he like you heard him run away from the mic. He's like, "I don't know."
After that, when the fight was over, Dominic Cruz basically had to choke the bowel out of his throat. He was like, "Turns out it was a commissioner who allowed Hardy to take the inhaler." Yeah.
If you have asthma, shouldn't be fighting the UFC. Get out of here. Hot take.
You know what? But if we can look past him being, his checkered and sordid past of domestic abuse and like all that other stuff, he looked good on the stand-up tonight. Looked good with the kicks and fought a smart fight.
He is improving at an incredibly rapid pace, and that is something that you see with people who are high-level athletes before they're fighters.
Yes,
they have the ability to learn. They have the ability to do whatever you throw at them, right? Because you teach someone a kick who is like a soccer player, it's like, oh, okay. Instead of low, you're kicking high, right? So especially for a woman or a man who beats his woman, it's going to be easy for him to learn how to throw punches.
You totally set me up in my mind. I'm like, yeah, Jose Alday. Yeah, he was a soccer player. And he like beats this woman. I'm like, OJ Simpson.
No, you're not allowed to use knives in the UFC.
Oh, amen. And check the sound. Clap. So I didn't catch any of the. I mean, I caught the end of the prelims. All right. So there was one guy that was from the AKA gym. Short fellow wrestler. That guy.
That fight. Win, right? Was his name Win?
Yes, Win.
Yeah, Darren Win. Because it was the battle of the Darrens. Darren Win versus Darren, whatever the other guy's name was.
He gets my my notable mention for I wish you could, little fella. Because he gave it his all, dude. But otherwise than that, I don't have.
Wait, was that a split decision? No, it was just a unanimous decision.
Yeah, it was a unanimous decision.
He won one round, didn't he? Though.
No,
no.
Judges gave it all. They gave it all to the other guy.
Happens when he. Hot take.
You edit those in. It's just like. So that's what I have to say about the fights. Didn't catch it in early prelims. Hey, did you get a chance to watch that documentary I sent you about Little Majin, who brought American Tech?
I started watching it and I'm like, what is going on? What? Who? This guy was good, and then now we're making a documentary about him because he wasn't. No, he was still good.
Yeah,
I gave up about 30 seconds in. That's what I got from the first 30 seconds.
Listen, I know we got a whole thing we got to work through. I just got to give Little Majin a shout out. Watch this documentary on eShorts.
Was it that good?
It was eShorts. Listen, this guy.
Score.
Yeah, it's on the score. This guy basically showed up to Vegas with an invite for the tournament, but he just took his girlfriend. He's like, "Oh, it'd be a great time for her to see Vegas." Didn't think he was gonna make it, and just starts wrecking people.
And he just plays in an open brackets. He walks in like it's the color of money. He walks in. And he's like, "I'm gonna win this entire thing." They're like, "What are you talking? You're in an open bracket. Those guys are invited." And he's like, "Oh, I've already beat them all." That poor kid who's there, he's 15. He's good. He won his local arcade. His dad's like, "All right, buddy, come on. We'll go to Vegas. We'll see what you can do." Just gets that guy first round, just gets destroyed.
Dude, he put American Tekken on on his shoulders that night. It's amazing. We get a chance.
I'll link it in another country. Is that super popular in other countries? I don't know. What do you mean American Tekken?
Yeah, so the long and short of it is Korea has the best Tekken players.
Shocking.
So and before all the correctors come in, au contraire, it's here or in China. No, you know that I know that you know that it is the Koreans who are the best Tekken players, only because of proximity, and they address this in the documentary. They play constantly in arcades, and they have the. You know what I'm saying? They just have the ability to do it. And Tekken had kind of fallen off with Americans for a little while, and the tournaments weren't there.
Okay.
So this dude, and he
shows up and smacks him.
Yeah, and this dude's playing. He was popular on the local scene, but he just shows up and basically on the weekend where he was taking his girl to Vegas, just starts smashing people.
He's like, oh, coincidence. There's a Tekken going on here this weekend. He's like, I used to play Tekken back in the day. And his girlfriend's like, what are you doing? He's like, you don't have a beard. Tekken.
I grew it for this tournament.
Hey, where'd you get the beard? He's like, poof, beard.
Dude, how's your new keyboard?
I've had a. It's just a Black Widow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what you're working with, man. Come on, let's show everybody that RGB that you got going on there.
It's just on random, and it's.
Zach Rage destroyed his keyboard while we were.
Here's the keyboard upside down. It's just.
There it is.
My mouse.
Yeah.
Hey, I recommend taking a mouse and he listened to me. No, it's just a Black Widow. I didn't get the ultimate this time because I didn't wrist rest. I was kind of over the wrist rest on the Huntsman. And I've had this one. I was actually looking for the tournament edition of this one, which doesn't have the number pad on it, because I wanted to try a smaller keyboard. I've never had a keyboard like that, but we didn't have it, so I went with the regular one.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, man. I was kind of over the Huntsman anyway, so I was over it. Wasn't really feeling. I didn't really feel it the entire time that I had it. I thought the keys were a little mushy.
Oh,
happy keys.
So this wasn't a coincidence that this happened, huh? I do that too when I'm ready to get a new phone. Things start happening to it.
What do you mean? My crack phone. Can we see it? Oh, this is... All right, whatever.
Greasy. All right,
you're greasy.
What do we got up first? What's on your mind tonight?
I say we do the Joker last. So we give the people the chance, if they haven't seen it, get prepared for spoilers, or pause where we're gonna talk about the Joker. Because I feel like if we're gonna do it, it's been a few weeks since the movie's out. We're allowed to like actually talk about main plot points at this point.
Right.
So we're gonna wait to do that. Gonna go over a bunch of other things. We're some PC questions on here actually. We're gonna do a little bit of a tech segment. What do you think is the next upgrade in your computer? Or just actually, I'm gonna not even. You can do the computer first. What is the next upgrade in your setup? I think the setup is the bigger question.
For me personally, it's probably obviously going to be the mic.
Sure.
For anyone that's had to deal with listening to my side of the audio, and they're just like, man, I really want to invest in these shows, but God, that guy sounds horrible. That would be the next setup. Go for it.
We fixed it in the videos that are coming out prior or after this. The audio is actually really good. We finally fixed it, dude. But I also, I walked you through changing it to what the settings I thought they should be, and we kind of worked it out. So,
well, if I don't have to spend money on a mic, then that frees up some capital. I guess the next thing I would want to do is actually, if I'm being completely honest, we went over the specs of my computer before. A 1060 GPU from NVIDIA. I have a Ryzen 5 2600, not the X, and a B350 Tomahawk motherboard.
Sure.
I'm not entirely convinced that I need to do anything else. And Zach's going to scoff at this because he's been telling us that I need to do anything else to my computer at this point. So, but if I had to do one more upgrade, I would probably upgrade the motherboard and go for processor.
Yeah, motherboard and processor.
Yes.
So my thought is you probably don't need to do it right now. At some point, we're going to want to up the production quality. At some point, we're going to want to play the new games all when they come out. So at some point, you will want to do some things that will make all of that easier.
Yes.
But at this moment, it's not entirely necessary. So we're fine with that.
So, I mean, PlayStation 5's coming out soon.
Why would you even get it?
Because I'm a consumer.
That doesn't mean you have to buy the things.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what it means.
I'm a consumer. I didn't have to buy this thing.
Yeah, you didn't. I tried to stop you from buying that thing. You have a GameCube sitting there. You didn't have to buy that thing, dude.
What are you talking about? I didn't buy that GameCube. I've had it for 6 months.
You, me, and the other 6 people that bought those things back in the day regret that. That was the worst purchase of my life. I gotta be honest with you. Yes.
One of my favorite games of all time. I played the most on GameCube.
Dude, listen to me. I got swindled when I bought that thing. I was working at a CD store in downtown.
Pro Skater 3.
Oh yeah, it sucked on there.
Way better in here than it was on the PS1.
That's that's not true. I'll kill you for the dirty things you're saying. But back to the PC upgrades. Okay, this is one thing I don't need to upgrade, but I would like to upgrade at this point. I am getting tired of my basic looking case. I'm getting extremely tired of looking at it. I want something that just screams midlife crisis when I look at my computer.
You're going to buy a Corvette case.
Yes.
You're going to buy the Corvette of cases. I like that. That's the least useful upgrade of all time. Unless you run out of expansion bays. You have like 2 hard drives. But you're okay.
Listen, I want these lights to flicker with the amount of RGBs I have when I turn on my computer. Every time I turn on my computer, I should go a little bit more bold.
You want to be like, hey, I figured out a way that we don't have to heat our house anymore. Yeah. And she's like, what are you talking about? We have children. Click. Oh my God, turn it down.
It feels amazing. I'm like, what? Oh man.
That's awesome.
What about you? Anything you would upgrade on yours?
I also think the mic.
What's wrong with your mic?
Nothing. I think I like the I think I like the sound profile of the Shure SM7B a little bit better.
Oh yeah, the Shure SM7B.
Right. If you listen to Rogan,
Right.
if you listen to Stern, if you listen to for you Rush Limbaugh, any of those, they all use a Shure SM7B. Actually, Rush might use a Electro Voice RE20, but Rogan uses Shure SM7B. I like that microphone a lot. I like the way it sounds. So I think it sounds a little bit bassier than mine, and slightly better on the.
Yeah, but you have like a whole mixer set up there, right?
Yeah, I would just replace this piece.
Just that component. Okay.
This cable would be good. That mixer would be fine. I would just have to replace this, and then this bracket I would have to change. And then I could throw some.
What about your one luxury non-essential upgrade?
2 2080s.
Really?
Yeah.
What is that called? There's a name for that when you run two of them.
SLI.
I had heard from a Canadian that has a very popular YouTube channel himself that it's entirely unnecessary.
Who said that? Give them to me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It wasn't the Canadian who shall remain nameless.
It was a fellow Canadian, first of all.
Right.
Fellow Canadian.
About this is all about.
It's about not drinking. It's about not celebrating Christmas.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of that movie. No, it was actually your other buddy, the one that made the computer for Post Malone.
Oh, the Californian. Yeah. We can't trust California. So.
Yeah. Yeah, he said it was unnecessary, but that's what you would do?
Yeah, probably. I don't need a new processor. I guess I could luxury upgrade the processor to like a Xeon or something, but I have an 8700K. I could go to an i9 or something, but I think the 8700K is perfect.
Oh, come here. We got a guest host coming in here.
That is Steve's dog, DC. After the comic book series and also the fighter.
Yes.
DC is a treasured name in his household.
It isn't.
Actually, one of the most hated names. You bring up DC in that house, you're gonna get leg swept.
No. Listen, we don't fanboy here. It's just like I actually tried to play Aquaman for my wife. Like I put it on. I should say in the background. She's like, "Turn this nonsense off." Right
Is it
now.
that bad?
No, actually, it didn't seem like it was that bad. Like it did pretty good at the box office. I can't get through it. Unfortunately,
no, it's not that bad. It's just not watchable.
No, it's not.
You're like, I fall asleep 30 minutes into the movie every single time.
Listen, people ruined it for me because they were like, "You're such a Marvel fanboy." I'm not a Marvel fanboy. I would watch another DC movie. I would watch another franchise if it was good.
You are a Marvel fanboy, though. What's your dog's name?
My dog's name is Marvel.
Like, no, I have nothing to do with it. I don't like Ford at all. My dog's name is Mustang.
Jack, Stan, and Kirby. No,
and Lee.
And Lee.
Yeah.
Which is my sister's name, by the way. Shout out to Lee Bullet. Real name, no gimmicks.
Okay.
No gimmicks.
Also Canadian.
Also very Canadian. Go ahead and edit that part.
No, there are no edits in this. You can't request an edit in this.
So that would be your luxury. Your luxury.
Yeah. Graphics card going from 1 to 2 would be my luxury up.
What about a door on your closet? That would be a nice addition.
Is that better?
Way to plug the logo.
Oh, I didn't even see. I mean, as if this means.
Didn't even realize I
means anything to me anymore.
What about so this is the last thing I'm gonna ask.
Okay.
Would you, for any reason at all, upgrade the sound card or install a sound card into your computer?
No, I don't have a use for it.
Yes, everyone's got a use for it.
What's plugged into a sound card on my computer right now?
You don't have a use for it.
I don't have a use for it. I have one. I have a
Okay.
sound card. There is a sound card there. It's
What,
just I don't have a use for it. Sound Blaster.
Oh, that's right. You were supposed to give me that thing. I never got out your
No, I was supposed to give it to you until I realized that there was no Spidiff out.
We're not going to go into that embarrassing moment. Moving on to the next part of the podcast.
But let's
Looks
keep it
like
with PCs. Let's keep it with
okay.
PCs. I gave you homework at the end. No, actually, the fourth video that went out this week in the Destiny 2 series, the original Destiny 2 series, you were supposed to watch a a part of a CSGO major. I specifically linked you I think it was FaZe versus Cloud9
Yes.
in a match, in a series that Cloud9 was not supposed to win. Right.
Right.
What'd you think?
So, first, before we get into what I thought, which all positive, that was a complete setup because you sent me a video and I'm like, it's an hour and a half. This has got to be the entire tournament,
Nope.
is my assumption.
Wrong.
No, this was
Wrong.
the first. Actually, I think it was the first and second map in that video because the audience was cheering for the third map by the end.
Oh, okay. Who won map 1? Who won map 2?
I believe, if I remember correctly, Cloud9 won map 1, and they clinched. No, FaZe. So it got weird towards the end because if I remember correctly, as I was working my way through it, FaZe basically was losing, but they had come back. Yeah, they had come back in such a way where it forced them to go into map 3, and instead of just completely beat Cloud9, completely pushing them out, they had to go into the third map. So I haven't gotten into the other videos, but that video first, things that stood out to me. First of all, with a name like Skadoodle, you got to be good. And yeah,
Skadoodle, so in fairness, you probably don't know this now. Skadoodle is the person that Shroud plays with the most. Those two were the duo.
Really?
Those two were a duo. And then before this tournament, I don't know if it was a year or a year and a half before this tournament, Shroud retired. And then Ska stayed, played through that, and then I think he retired after that.
Right. I gotta be honest. All right, so I did well. I watched that documentary on Shroud, and I knew more about Cloud9 going into this than the average person would. And what spurred this on was because I was saying I wanted to get deeper into esports. Like I wanted to understand the culture more. I wanted to understand the announcing of it more. I just wanted to understand the entire realm of it. So I'm just gonna break it down the way that I experienced it while I was watching the video. One, I don't know who those announcers are, but those guys are good. Because you have to be really enthused and knowledgeable to be able to be a good announcer,
especially
right?
for video games.
Exactly. Yeah. So any idiot can get up and start talking about fighting, right? If he knows a little bit about fighting, but that doesn't mean that you want it. Hey, amen. And I just kind of walk away, but that doesn't mean you want to. You don't want to hear him talking about fighting.
Right.
I was really impressed by the announcers. I was impressed by the enthusiasm of the fans who had shown up for that event. And as the more I got into it with the gameplay, knowing that Cloud9, knowing backstory because of the Shroud documentary, what they had gone through in previous years in tournaments, and placing but not winning, and then placing and not winning, this was very much reminded me of, and I'm going to date myself a little bit, even though I was too young to fully comprehend at the time. The Bulls had gone through something like this before they won their first championship.
Okay.
Where they went to the playoffs, they lost. They went to the playoffs, they lost to the Detroit Pistons. So it reminded me of that. But watching the actual gameplay, I got to disagree with something you told me in the beginning. It's not run and gun. These guys have a clear strategy, even if they're winging it and working in a cohesive unit.
But
to the way
I told you this about Counter-Strike.
You didn't tell me anything. Let me finish. I'm droning on here. I'm on a roll. So from the way they throw smoke, right?
Incredible.
To the way it's incredible, the way they crouch, the way they shut down corridors and they move through corridors.
Yep.
The use of the AK and the pistols and knowing when to swap out those things, and that was actually really amazing to watch. I wish there was a guy on FaZe's team that was like their prominent player. They basically I won't say they shut that guy down, but they put him in a lot of uncomfortable positions.
Yeah.
Which was really cool to watch. And actually, there was one point where it was so obvious that FaZe, I can't speak. I won't say obvious. From my perspective, FaZe was not expecting the pushback they got from this team. You know what I'm saying? And it was amazing to
No,
watch.
for sure. That's exactly what was happening.
Yeah.
You are 100% right.
And it was amazing to watch, dude, because you also look at the skill level. Because you look at a game like CS:GO and it looks really rudimentary, and you're like, oh man, they're much better. There got to be better shooters. But now that I've played it a few times, and I know how unforgiving it is for mistakes.
Yep.
Watching these guys maneuver, like the headshots were on point, and if they did do a body shot, it was like body shot, headshot, right? Like there was a point where Skadoodle shot a guy through a wall. One of my favorite Doc moments was it's in his montage clip where this guy, he's playing Fortnite and the guy keeps peeking up from this thing he's building, and Doc tags him the last time he peeks, right? But he hits him when he sees him. Skadoodle saw this guy peer out for a second, move back, and shot him behind the wall. And I was like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
That was absolutely amazing, dude.
I had explained to you in a video, right? There is video evidence of this, of how incredible those guys are and what the skill level is in a Counter-Strike game, right? The level of a Counter-Strike game, and I think I have homework for you for next week too, but it's going to be a different game. It's going to be a game that you're going to enjoy more to watch, I think.
Gears?
Yes. I'm going to send you homework, and you're gonna watch, and I'm gonna watch it too, because admittedly I've only watched very few Gears tournaments, so I'm gonna pick one that I haven't seen. We're gonna watch it separately, and then we're gonna talk about it on the podcast. But the level in Gears is like, okay, here's a Gears pro, here's an average, right? Like really far, but like here's an average person on CS. The pro is up here, right? The pro is gonna win 10 times out of 10. In other professional esports, there's essentially there's a fighter's chance,
right?
Or there's a puncher's chance in most of those engagements. In CS, there isn't. There is not. It is.
No, there isn't.
So the player that they shut down that you were thinking of on A's was Olafmeister.
Yes, that's his name.
The guy he's incredible. He's a very good player. And Skadoodle went off in this series. It's probably the best series Skadoodle has ever played, especially to win a major. For sure, the best series ever played. He specifically shut down Olaf. Skadoodle wasn't supposed to be the best person on that team. He was supposed to be the best person. Or Eric, at the time, was supposed to be the best person on the team. But Skadoodle came out, played amazing, shut down Olafmeister, and almost 1-for-1 every single time. And yeah, they played a really good series. So we've played a little bit of Counter-Strike now. You said it's unforgiving. You see the way these guys are playing. After watching the professional scene of Counter-Strike, does it make you want to play it more, or does it make you want to play it less? Because you're like, I don't know if I could ever get that good, or is it like I want to be that good? What is the drive for you afterwards? Because watching a series like that specifically, because it is a series that C9 wasn't supposed to win. Spoiler alert, they win. They weren't supposed to win. They were massively the underdog. They had barely made it through, right? They played the series before this. If I remember correctly, they went to a round 3, and they played really well. But they weren't supposed to win this. That is like an underdog story. Everyone loves an underdog. How does it make you feel? This gives you emotion.
No, I mean, obviously, like again, if anyone has a chance, I believe it's the same company that did Little Majin, or the same production crew did Little Majin. What is it called? Esports?
It's The Score.
The Score, yeah.
Well, that's who does most of them. I don't know if he did the one that you're.
Yeah, they did, but the storytelling in that documentary led me into this tournament. And to answer your first question, yes, it does make me want to play CS, but not for enjoyment. It makes me want to play CS because I'm like, oh, I can get better at other games by playing this, right? It's not necessarily a game it's not necessarily a game that I could see myself being like, all right, it's Friday night, let me sit down and play and enjoy it that way, because I enjoy a good story mode. But I could play it with my friends and have a good time, because I know the more I play it, the better I'm going to get. Like I was having a great time doing the the aim accuracy test.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, and it's like, and we're gonna release a video soon where you guys aren't gonna get the full representation. I actually did better off video than I did when we were recording because I was nervous. But it does improve it.
I'm not cutting that video up.
Oh, you're not?
No, I'm not making a video out of that. So we tried to shoot a video. My idea was we were going to go in, we were going to get a baseline on how Steve's aim and reaction time and stuff was, and then we were going to work behind the scenes for like super hard, and we were going to like try to like train him and make him better, and come back in a month and see how it did. But it turns out that there wasn't really much content in that other than me watching Steve try to shoot targets and succeeding about 30% of the time. So
I think 33.5. I think it's a better.
Oh, is it 33.5 repeating or whatever? So 32.5% of the time he hit the target. So it was like, okay, like I could talk over it a little bit, but wasn't going to be enough to make a good video, unfortunately.
Yeah. Once we got into the game, we both kind of like clammed up because I was so focused on it. And then to answer your next question, yeah, it was enjoyable to watch. Again, doesn't necessarily make me want to play the game because I want to like compete. But I'm like, oh, okay. I recognize that there was a great deal of skill in playing CS:GO, and I will make my case on this. Shroud, and this makes me appreciate him more, went very far with a COD Pro, just solely based in being a CS pro player.
Yeah, I thought we were going a different direction with that, but yeah, no, you're 100% right.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that game he played against Scump, and Scump won,
of course,
100%. But it was
Superstini too.
Did he?
Yeah, he lost to Superstini before that too. Yeah.
Yeah, but I haven't seen that one yet. But it was a close match,
yeah.
Dude. It was unless there was something I missed there, like they edged out that victory.
So the issue with that to me is it's kind of disingenuous. He wasn't on a computer with his setup, right? He was on a PlayStation with a keyboard and mouse. Whether the keyboard and mouse is his or not doesn't matter because you can't accurately adjust your mouse on a PlayStation. So I give him a little bit of a pass, although he doesn't need a pass from
right.
Right. I don't know if the outcome would be any different if he was on a PC where he could do all of his adjustments and play at 144 hertz and do the things that he likes to do normally. I don't think it would have been any different. I still think Scump's going to win that just because of the thousands and tens of thousands of hours that he's played the game.
Also, I mean, and when you're using that logic too, not to diverge, but Scump's playing with a remote, so technically you would think the advantage would go to Shroud for having the keyboard and mouse for accuracy. And I don't know how much time he had to map and like calibrate. I've seen videos where it takes more than just plugging the keyboard and the mouse into the PlayStation. You have to really spend some time calibrating. But again, watching Shroud play CS and knowing that his game playing translates over into so many other games.
Yeah.
And it starts with a game like CS. So yeah, it does make me want to play to get better. And then the third thing I noticed from watching this tournament was, to be super cheesy, the camaraderie amongst the teams, right? Yeah. And then the overall fanship. Yeah, the overall fanship. Like the American fans, they cheered when their team was winning, and they were quiet when they weren't winning because it was just.
Yeah.
You forget sometimes that, living in America, like so many other topics, you think that you're at the head of the table in certain regards, and it's just not true. It's just not true when it comes to gaming. And I think I came up playing fighting games, and there was always this mystique around places like Japan and Korea. You just knew whenever you went. There used to be an arcade in Midtown where you went in, and my brother would probably remember what I was talking about. When you would go in there, or in the arcades in like Chinatown, you were stepping in to play some real Street Fighter.
Sure.
Right. And that's how I felt watching this video. Like these guys are they're real gamers. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna watch it again and pretend in my head that I'm any of these people. They also had great chairs. I was watching the one guy he was sitting over his monitor and it's flipped all the way down like this. I'm like, dude,
did you notice what resolution they play at?
They were playing at 60, right? No, what were they playing at?
They were playing at 720p. They're not playing at 1080, but they're playing at 240 hertz.
But why were they playing the 720?
So your map is bigger on your screen and everything is zoomed in slightly.
Ah.
Yeah, it's one of the little things that you could do to make the game a little bit easier.
You know what? It's one of those things where I have a 144 hertz monitor, and I sometimes I don't know. Like I'm like, I'm like okay.
You know what? It's hard to tell the difference. It is. It really is hard to tell the difference.
I'm like, I'm still dying in it, but I look great on the screen when I'm doing it. But
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed it a lot, man. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I thought you would. That's why I gave you Counter-Strike first. Counter-Strike has the best production. They have the best team around it. It's the best team esport, I think. And it's the best to watch for outside viewers, people who aren't playing the game actively. I think Counter-Strike does that really well.
Yeah.
So next week, and we're going to do this, Gears. But we're going to do the Gears Mexico City from last year or the year before, because Mexico City has the best crowd for Gears.
Why is that?
I think from what I understand, it's a really popular game in Mexico. So they're super passionate about it when it comes to Mexico City.
Oh, okay.
We're going to watch that one, but we're going to watch I think from that year, it was the Optic run. It was either the Optic or whatever that team went to after, and they were incredibly dominant. So
wait, Optic has a Gears team?
They did. Yes. Yeah. So that Gears team actually ended up on NRG. So, but that team is the best roster of. They won 18 of 20 tournaments in 2 years. You know, they currently are 1-1 in tournaments under the new organization. They're set to win the one in December. They're set to win the one in Mexico City next year. They're the best roster of all time in Gears. So we're gonna watch that. We're gonna watch a non-underdog story. We're gonna watch a dominant team go in and play.
Yeah. Again, last thing I'm gonna say about Cloud9. One, there's another company that ripped off their logo. I'll send that to you on the side.
Oh, there is. That's known.
Yeah,
that's known.
Yeah. And two, the underdog portion was amazing. Like because no one told them in that day that they were the underdog.
Right.
Even though going into the third map, yeah, there was like
they're not supposed to win.
Yeah, it was definitely some miracle on ice type stuff. But again, the precision, the gameplay, like you hear a guy like Doc talk about being the best, but seeing these guys like these are the guys at the top.
Right. Yeah. There's a difference.
Yeah, there's a clear difference.
So it's interesting to watch. The actual translation goes both ways, right? Shroud played really good against Scump in COD. Scumpy, when he plays CS, is a very high level CS player.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yes. And so is Crim6, and so is Karma, and so is Formal. Those guys who all teamed together for a long time. Those guys are like, so there's a ranking system called ESEA. It's a third-party client. You log in.
I've heard of this thing. Yeah.
They were all like top tier in ESEA. So, and that's where the pros play. So they are right under it casually. So, yeah, those guys. There are some people who are just naturally born gamers. Karma is very specifically that person. If you've ever heard Doc, I know you like Doc a lot. He'll say the two best people he's seen play any game ever that they could just pick up and play: Shroud and Karma.
Yes. Also, there's a guy he plays Apex with that comes on every. Yes, that
TSM
dude.
This might be the best Apex player.
Yeah.
This is very good. This is incredible. Yeah.
And he's extremely humble about it too, dude. It was funny.
And he's funny.
It's funny because I told you Tim was on them with him for like a moment. He's like, yeah, Doc's talking to Tim. He's like, yeah, I don't know, man. This might be on later. This is serious stuff. And I felt Tim's pain in this next statement when he was like, I'm good at the game. And I'm like, you are good, Tim. I'm like, you are good, dude.
He's not this.
Yeah.
He's not this. Yeah. So those guys are funny, dude. This is good, man. This is like, and he like plays around. He doesn't take the game entirely seriously. It's interesting, man. Yeah, that's fair. It's interesting to watch people who have played other esports transition into like an Apex or a Call of Duty now, right? Snipedown, who was like one of the best Halo players of all time, right? Obviously the Ogre Twins are up there, but Snipedown is probably top 5, top 7 in best Halo players of all time. He placed silver in the X Games this year for Apex. So
Really?
he's transitioned from a Halo player into an Apex player. He's an Apex pro. So it's interesting to watch people who go across games, and even though they might be entirely different, and still be able to perform really well.
So and Ninja was also
Ninja was a Halo pro, yes.
okay.
And then he was good at battle royales. He was very good at H1. He was number 1 at H1 like a year in a row or something in like three or 4 seasons. He was pretty good at PUBG. He was never Shroud level at PUBG, but him and Shroud played PUBG together, and they were very good together. And then when Fortnite came out, he just ruled Fortnite for the first year.
Nah, you episode 2. No, we won't even get into that. I know it just enrages you.
What? What are we talking about?
Episode 2, Fortnite.
Chapter
what do you think?
2. That's what you want to call it.
Chapter 2.
I have no opinions. I haven't looked at it. I don't play it. I didn't read the patch notes. I'll never play it. So
I saw the update on my PlayStation, which I turned on last night just for a second. I was just like, like I can't.
He's like, I'm gonna get yelled at if I play this game.
But I can't get into it too. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
Those kids are nasty in that lobby, though, in that PlayStation lobby. But
I'm sure.
I digress.
I'm sure. What do you want to talk? What do you want to talk about
your
next?
face, you're like, fucking Fortnite.
I just have no interest, man. I have no interest whatsoever.
Do you think you'll reinstall Gears after you watch this tournament?
No.
Not even to play.
I like watching it, but I have no interest in playing it.
I like drawing this out of you because it's like I have so much fun playing that game, and I've never heard you as dissatisfied with anything. Like you're in the background, just like wall bounce, useless. Hip shot for a shotgun, useless.
Oh, dude! When I was up against the wall and I didn't even aim, and I just fired around the corner at the guy, and I couldn't have missed because I was at the corner, he was at the corner on the other side, and I just went boop, and then as I stuck my arms out, he shot me and killed me. I have never been more mad in my entire life at anything, dude. At anything. If that was the moment in my life where it was like I peaked in anger, it'll all be downhill from there. Because that was the silliest thing I've ever seen, dude. It was kind of crazy.
Listen to me. I want you to know this. At 38 of age, when I was your age, I thought I had peaked in anger a few times, and now I just realized I will always find something to get angrier about. Sometimes multiple times in the same morning. I'm just like...
He wakes up and he's like, dog peed on the floor. Goes down, cleans it up, goes downstairs, and he's like, that banana that I left there last night is now rotten.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, and someone only cut the rotten part out of it and ate the rest. And he goes in.
Well, to be fair, I'm that person in Santan. My wife is kind of like, well, I don't understand. What was your logic? You ate the good part of the apple and left the bad part on the table for what reason? I'm like, it seemed like the thing to do when I was doing it.
I thought you were gonna cook an apple pie.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I saved the apple pie for you. We're getting all over the place.
Yes.
This is why
so
we enjoy
I'm interested in Gears, but you know what I have been really interested in recently is new age skateboarding.
Wow. What do you mean by new age?
So
first,
I think I explained this to you already at some point. So the way that skateboard companies work now, right? And I can think of one very specifically. It's Revive. It's actually the deck that I have. I have a Revive board. They don't have, so like everyone's on YouTube now. Right, all of their pros are on YouTube. One of their biggest pros, Aaron Cairo, is in charge of Braille skateboarding, which is massive. Right, they have like 4 or 5 million subs. Johnny Geiger, who is I think the best flat ground skater in the world right now, he has like 700,000 or 800,000 subscribers. Andy Schrock, the guy who owns it, has 2.5 or 3 million subscribers. But there is no central Revive page.
Mm-hmm.
Now, generally, it works the other way, right? The company is huge, like Plan B. Plan B is an enormous skateboarding company, and all of their pros were smaller than the company is. And they would do their parts, send the parts into the company, They would put it together in a video and then release the video, right? And then it would create promotion for the skaters, but most importantly, the company. Now, what all of what this new company is doing, Revive is doing, is all of their pros are huge, right? 3, 4, 5 million subscribers in social media, and they all point them back towards Revive instead of the opposite way. And I thought this was really interesting. And I think I saw like someone else's podcast. I think it was the Nine Club or something. I forget what it was called, but shout out to those guys that they had about this. And that's what was kind of inspired my thoughts on it, is that social media has taken over everything so much that the companies don't need to promote the skaters promote the company, and that's how they make their money.
Yes.
So it's way different than old school skaters.
Yeah, and so I've never claimed to be an expert skater. Did some skating, but let me just tell you what I know about the past and how. So obviously, I come from the generation where the skate tape was the form of promotion, right?
Right.
And your skate tape, Zach would make a skate tape at Washington Square Park or say Union Square, and somehow that ended up in the hand of a sponsor or something like that, or other people copied the tape. Which you were this was the only time in life where you were really hoping pirating was happening, was when you were DJing back in the day and when you were making skate tapes. You were hoping someone would just
get out. You wanted to get out. Right.
Exactly. And then so you
just, I don't want to cut you off. The Nine Club is,
but you did.
The Nine Club is what the podcast is called. I didn't want to give those guys. I wanted to give those guys.
The Nine Club. Okay.
Yeah, they came up with that idea. I actually.
So now you're saying it's more about the skater promoting the company instead of vice versa.
Yeah, because the way that the skaters make their money now is not salaried or not based off of how much their part sells in a video. It's how many boards they sell. They're getting they're getting percentage of board sales. So like Johnny Geiger's pro board, you buy that, he gets X percent of how much that board.
But hasn't it always been that way? Like
that's
since
been a part of it. For sure,
right.
But the old school skaters used to get salaries or X amount of dollars per part that they would send in for videos. I don't think that's the way anymore. Another reason we're talking about this is because Geiger released his new part like I want to say a few weeks ago, and it was awesome. It was like he was super old school with it. He's doing Casper slides and he's catching double flips into primo, sliding it across the mani pad and 3 flipping out. And it's like, okay, there's 3 people who have ever landed that trick on a part. Him, Rodney Mullen, and some guy that I don't know the name of. I didn't do my research, but I saw the video because he had mentioned that in it. He's like, hey, I did a trick in this part that I did that I am the 3rd person to ever land it on video. So it's really cool. He does like a varial flip into a Casper slide across the mani pad that's like 10 foot long and flips out.
I'm just gonna pull up my research bot here so I can just see that really quickly. But continue on because that sounds amazing.
Yeah, hold on. Well, let's watch the part after this. It's like 4 minutes long, 4 or 5 minutes long. Okay. So we'll watch after. We can't watch on the show. I don't want to get copyrighted.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll send it to you. We'll watch it after the show because I actually sent it to a few other people that I'm like, dude, this is the coolest part that I've seen in a long time. So, but that. And at the end of it, he directs people towards Revive and towards Revive's website to buy his pro board instead of the other way around.
Man, so have you ever heard of a skater called the kind of infamous Gator? He came out during the Tony Hawk era when Tony Hawk was like coming up, and he was like one of Tony Hawk's main competitors on the vert scene.
Yes. I know who this guy is.
Yes, and he fell into some hard times and did some horrible things. We don't need to get into that. But but their deals then must have been kind of revolutionary because they were making money. I believe the majority of their money came from sales off their decks, like their custom decks, and that's how they made the source of their revenue, like them, the Bone Brigade, and all those other dudes. So that's cool to hear. So what are the contracts like now for a new age skater?
That I don't know. I don't know the back end side of it of what they're signing for, but I know for a fact in Revive part of it is promotion for Revive, right? So, obviously you would never skate a competitor's deck, but if you weren't skating a part, you might, because say you break your board, you might go to Zoomies and grab one whatever, right? You just grab whatever off
Right.
the wall. They don't, because they're recording everything. They're doing everything vlog style. Almost every day that they're skating, they're recording it and posting videos and doing challenges and just trying to do as much promotion for themselves, which then promotes the company. That's where the difference is.
Oh, I got you. So let me ask you a question in regards to new age skaters. What do you follow in regards to tournaments, street tournaments, vert tournaments?
None.
What's none?
None, because that's not the interesting part. Watching someone who is the best at what they do, but and then know that they're the best and just have the cleanest tricks. Seva Krotovkov, he is incredible, right? So, have you seen Battle at the Barracks? You know what Battle at the Barracks is?
No.
So we talked about this. The Barracks is an indoor skate park in California. It's private. It's owned by Eric Costin and Steve Barra.
Yes. This one went down a rabbit hole.
They hold a game of skate competition every year, right? It's called Battle at the Barracks. And this guy came in like pretty unknown. I think it was like Pros versus Joes one year. Same year Johnny Geiger. And just came in, and he has this really unique style. So, because like most people start like kick flip, then 3 flip, then front shove, then back shove, then 3 shove, right? No, he starts 3 shove, front shove, kick flip, switch flip, nollie flip, fakie flip, 3 flip, switch for 3 flip, and then he'll just go through those tricks in all 4 stances. And then he gets to hard flip, and he catches hard flip in all 4 stances, and then inward heel in all 4 stances, and then heel in all 4 stances. So his thing is he can do every trick in every stance, and he can also play the game of attrition and just wear you out entirely. That's his goal. He'll catch, or he'll do front 360s and not have to tail drag the last half of it. And he'll just landed a flat. Yeah. Oof. The guy catches his kick flip and his switch flips and his hard flips higher than I can jump. Just flat out.
Oh, so just no build up, just right into it.
Yeah. It's incredible. Yeah, they make the joke every time they read the rules in the Barracks, because it's no sliding a trick if your opponent popped it, and they always look at him every time and they're like, yeah, stop sliding tricks. Because this dude pops tricks so high that he catches a kickflip on the way up, which is
I'm gonna see the videos on these.
Cleanest thing. We'll watch those two. It is the cleanest thing I've ever seen. He'll catch a kickflip on the way up, and it's like, okay.
So what spurred you back into the skate videos? I know that since I met you, you've been kind of watching stuff on YouTube again, and you're taking a break from it for a while. But and then you took a very dangerous ride to Dunkin' Donuts the other day. I don't know if you want to share that with people. You came back. You look like you've been in a full-fledged fight.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Zach skated to Dunkin' Donuts, everyone, and like when he came back, he looked like he had been in a fight.
Yeah, I think it's pretty hard still. As I threw the board down and stepped on it, I hit a pebble pretty early on, so I didn't have enough speed to get it out of there, and just tried to run it out. Pants were too tight. Took 2.5 steps and decided that I had to tuck. And my knee's still cut up, to be fair. So yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is. Everyone takes a spill on a skateboard. Everyone does, Absolutely. No matter who you are. So I hadn't skated in like 18 months, and I just decided to throw a board down and ride.
Wait, you just had it in your car?
I always have it in my car.
Nice. But what got you back in? Was it something that spurred it on?
No,
or what?
I love skateboarding, and I always have. And I just didn't want to drive that day. So I was like, all right, whatever. I had the board in the back of the car, so I'll just roll over. So it is what it is. I was trying to throw 3 flips at the end of it, and I landed one primo and hurt my left foot pretty bad. I woke up the other morning and I was still in pain. I'm like, should have committed so hard. But no, nothing other than that.
Sorry. Let me ask you a question. Was it one of those moments where, like, and you can be honest with me, it's just me and you talking, right? Every once in a while, I'll watch someone sparring, and I'll find myself standing up, and I'll start throwing punches and accidentally punch the wall, and I'm like, shit! I hurt my hand. I hurt my hand pretty bad. Was it one of those things where you were like watching YouTube?
After that is when I started watching videos again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I went back and rewatched Battle at the Barracks 7, which is my favorite one. And then I rewatched Battle at the Barracks 11, which is the most recent one. And then they announced Battle at the Barracks Women's Edition, which is starting up like next month or so. So they just announced the bracket for that. So I was like, oh, cool, this is a good time. And then I started watching a lot of Braille skateboarding videos again because those guys are fun to watch, and I just got back into it. But unfortunately, Canadian winters are about no indoor parks.
Do you watch any of the Street League stuff? What's this guy's name?
With Rob Dyrdek,
Yeah.
I used to keep up with Street League pretty heavily when it first came out, but I've kind of lost interest in it, so not really.
Uh, where is it broadcasted now? Like I remember it's coming on Fox Sports 1. Is it
Oh,
still
I could look
does
it
it
up for sure.
is it still a thing?
It is for sure still a thing. It
Let's see.
is because I follow him on Instagram,
Mhm.
but I follow him on Instagram and he talks about all the like, you know, Naja wins every single one of them because
Mhm.
or it's on ESPN2 and ABC.
Oh, okay. Those are both channels that I get in Canada.
Yeah, oh yeah, we get them all up in Canada there, but it's an AB setup there,
An AB setup. It's funny because once we were talking about this on the show, I went back and just watched some old school tapes of like stuff in Thompson Square Park. You can find a lot of this stuff on YouTube now. Obviously, I don't. It is a crazy thing, right? So, full disclosure, I was never a part of this crew. Right? They were like a generation ahead of me, but you can go back and find a lot of cool tapes from the guys Harold and I met Harold. Everyone says they met Harold Hunter, right? They have a story where they met Harold Hunter. I never met him. I was literally standing next to a girl Harold was standing next to, trying to get his attention. But I remember I was just watching these videos the other night, and I was like, man, some of the stuff these guys were doing, like the transition into vertical verts coming off and then skating into the street, not stopping while recording. I was like, this is pretty groundbreaking stuff, dude.
Yeah.
Like I can show you a video where Harold came down. I believe it was a rail somewhere in the Lower East Side, and he came off the rail, and the guy who's recording follows him as he comes off the rail,
Uh-huh.
and they both just cut through traffic, and then he just does a kick flip, and the tape ends right there, and I'm like,
Oh, really?
that was I'm like, that's amazing, that's amazing.
I'm looking up my favorite video of all or skate part of all is
Copyright.
no, I'm not gonna play it. I'm actually on Wikipedia. It's Rodney Mullen versus Daewon Song, round 3, produced and done by Almost. Had like full length parts by most of the Almost team, but the battle between Rodney and Daewon, most technical skater pretty much of all time, was incredible. It was awesome, dude.
Dude, are you is it just pushing wood, or are you into BMX, like motocross and stuff like that too
Not
as
into
well?
motocross, for sure BMX though. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
a huge fan of BMX. I probably rode more BMX in my life than I did skateboard. So
Yeah, when I was living in California, I was surprised by how every person I knew was either a professional motocross, or by professional, I use that word very loosely,
yeah,
or
I think it's
every
pretty easy.
yeah, like, but they spend a great deal of time and just not one of the sports I get into, but big ups to those guys. But
Oh yeah, for
BMX,
sure.
like, oh, what about the tragedy, which was rollerblading? Were you that kid?
No, I can't. I just can't rollerblade to this day.
No?
No, the
I
boots
was
hurt my ankles. So
no, I was never good. I don't have the balance.
yeah, of course
I
you don't.
what? What?
Oh, I
What?
can't ice skate either.
No, I'm horrible ice skate. I'm a danger. I
I
am
flail
literally
my feet everywhere.
I'm a danger to every small children. If I'm falling, I'm holding on to the first person I see,
He's like, I'm
dude. That's
going and I'm yard sailing, and everyone's going down with me. No,
so give me your top.
BMX is I think probably even more interesting because I think it's even harder than skateboarding. Not saying skateboarding isn't incredibly hard, but BMX is because you have to get way more speed and way more air to do stuff on a bike.
Yeah.
So it's way like risk versus reward on a bike is like
Dude, it's not a game. If you watch any of the I wouldn't even call them freestyles, some of the choreographed stuff that they do when they're in a vert, and if you just stop
oh
and think
yeah,
about it's
it's incredible.
It's incredible and it's super dangerous because that bike is not necessarily meant to travel at that velocity
No,
up up a
no,
vert
straight
like
up a
that.
10-foot wall. No, nothing is meant to do that.
So give it to me, man. Up and coming skaters, besides the names you just listed, who are you most excited about? Don't pick
Um,
big names, man. Give us names that we should be checking out on IG and shout them out right now.
oh man, Carlos Lastra, he's really good. Killian Martin. Killian Martin is probably more well known than you want me to give, but the guy rides way more technical and way more like freestyle than most people. I have a third. I could probably look through my IG feed, but man, I don't know if I have a third. Really, the one that I would look at who is not as big as he should be is Johnny Geiger.
Okay.
Really, like very specifically Johnny Geiger. That guy he's incredible.
Links in the description when the videos come
No,
out?
I
Or?
don't know how to link things. Yeah, I'll link Johnny Geiger's channel. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just because he's incredible.
Aw. You got a man crush on him, don't you?
He's Swedish.
Oh, you're typing, and I'm like, I thought you were sending me a secret message like,
No, I'm
"Don't
I'm
ever
typing to make sure I link it. I
don't
have
ever
page.
embarrass me while we're recording again."
I will kill you.
All right,
That's
what
so
else?
funny.
What else we got up on here? So we got we kind of segued into old school versus new school skateboarders. So
Yeah.
channel building.
Yeah, I don't know where we would go on this one. We're kind of reflecting on the channel. It's been 1 month through the day that when we started recording this.
Oh wow.
We have 23 videos up.
24.
23. I
Sir,
looked earlier.
just because you edit and post all the content on the channel doesn't mean you know everything. It's 24.
That we have up currently without counting this video.
24. Yes, sir.
All right. Right. Video.
Sir, obviously something happened. There's some type of discrepancy in the algorithm.
Yeah,
Oh,
of
that's right.
course. What was that secret video that you uploaded by yourself? I just don't see it on here.
I forgot there was one video that got struck to the X-Files. I'm sorry, I miscounted.
Few videos.
A few.
So 23 videos up. We've only missed 7 days in a month of the channel that we just launched. Actually, really cool. Now, what are we missing? Because there's 3 very important things that we're missing. You know what they are, Steve. Go ahead. Take it away.
I have no idea. We are missing merchandise and sponsors.
Intro, outro, thumbnails.
You said 2 things.
I said 3. Intro, outro, thumbnails. Those are the 3 things, 3 very important things that we're missing.
Intro, outro, thumbnails. What is a thumbnail? Just
so a thumbnail is
I know what it is, but there might be someone watching that doesn't know.
Do you? So yeah. when you look up video, like you look up gaming with a dad, our videos will show up, but it's just a random picture from the video. That thumbnail would give information as to what the video is and who we are. That's what we're lacking. Branding. It's more branding stuff that we probably should have had fleshed out. I don't know why you did this to me. So we're gonna have to do more work on thumbnail. Maybe launch it too quick.
Wait, hold on for a second. For anyone that doesn't know, that is an untrue statement. Like I just said.
We mulled over this for months.
Yeah. And literally when it was time, I was like, hey, maybe let's take another week to kind of get it together. And Zach was in a cold sweat sitting in my basement like, we're doing it tonight.
That definitely didn't happen.
It happened. I have the
Discord
video
call.
No, I definitely have the video footage of you showing up to my house in the garage, like, where it's happening. And I'm like, I thought we were just storyboarding. You had a camera and everything with you.
We didn't record anything that night.
We did. It just didn't make it. Remember that we recorded you setting up the camera and everything.
Ah, yes, we did. That was
truly humble beginnings.
That is. We should make it. There at one point will be a video where some of the X-Files stuff comes out.
God, I hope
once we hit 1 million subs. We'll make an X-Files video, and we'll Go up
What?
some of the back end.
And once we get 1,000 followers, we get pillows from YouTube. If I'm to understand correctly. Or
I don't think that's true, dude. I'm looking this up because you said this before. That is not true.
I'm pretty sure I saw someone get a pillow at 1,000 subs. So you get a plaque or something. It's not easy to get 1,000 subs.
Creator award. At 100,000, you get a silver creator award. At 1 million, you get a gold. 10 million.
The pillow's 1,000 for sure. They just don't list it. Wait, 100,000? Someone we know is close to that, right? He has like 65,000. Nice. Shout out to the first 34. We're up to 34 followers. We
We
love and
are
treasure.
up to 34 followers.
We love and treasure all of you.
They're our favorite people.
Yes.
For sure. Sounds disingenuous. It just happens to be quarter one in the morning. He has 73 and a half.
73. Goodness.
Yeah. We're one viral video away. We're one viral video away.
Cats and dogs, man. They got to be in our thumbnails. So in regards to like brand building and stuff like that, who are you drawing some influences from? And YouTube specifically. I know you're coming from Twitch streaming, which, by the way, if anyone doesn't know, Zach at one point was solely dedicated to streaming on Twitch, and this has been somewhat of a. I will use the word sacrifice, even though he will not use it to describe it himself. He stepped away from that so we can do this project, and he spends more time editing, worrying, calling, texting, threatening me about this project than anything.
Hold on. I have never just called you out of the blue.
Actually, I'm the caller because I don't like texting, and I'm like, what? I don't understand the context of this text. So I would definitely call you, but
yeah,
who are you?
True.
Who are you drawing some of your influences from?
So there's a thing. I try not to draw any influence from anyone. I want to be our own thing. But realistically, no one. I got the idea, the format, like not from some videos that Funhouse does, right? Where they're they usually sit all in front of a camera, make fun of the person playing the game or make fun of the game, or they just like talk with them. But every once in a while, they'll be playing a game where it's like 4-player co-op, and then they'll switch back and forth. So I got the inspiration for the format from that. But as far as what we're doing, nothing. I haven't gotten inspiration from anything else. It's kind of even molded into something different than what it was when we originally started. So
100%.
No inspiration. I want us to do our own thing. That's where I'm going with it.
Yeah, I enjoy the conversational piece. I can't say, well, actually, that's a lie. I actually have a list here of people who inspire me on a day-to-day basis. I think one, I enjoy having the conversation more, right? So this is obviously a lot easier than playing and trying to talk at the same time. Two, I love the post-fight wrap-ups and being able to talk more about things that we enjoy. But also, what I would like to see from the channel as we grow is more audience participation, right? So at this point, we have 34 people.
Yep, 34
who have willingly or by strong arm subscribed to our channel. And if you were one of those people I hemmed up to subscribe, I want you to know you get a pillow too at 1,000 followers. Just send Zach your address and he'll get that stuff right over to you. But I think where I would like to see us grow more is the audience participation. Like knowing that people, when we are at school, walking away from the students and having someone walk up to me like, hey, I checked out one of your videos and I actually really enjoyed it.
Awesome.
It makes me feel good. It makes you feel good, man. So, it makes you feel good.
I would love at one point, because we do the videos a week before they come out, I would love for one point to be able to run a poll on the Friday video, have the poll end by Sunday, and it'll dictate what game we play the following week. I would love for that kind of thing to happen. Right? I don't know if we're at that spot yet, but eventually I would like to move that direction. Because we're pretty much down to play whatever. We've moved away from Borderlands a little bit.
Because it sucks.
Borderlands is great. Borderlands is actually a really fun game. I'm not going to let him pay him just for his own. But
no, Borderlands is good.
Borderlands is a fun game, but it may not work the best for it. Destiny is really fun. It works really well for us. Actually, I'm really proud of the first video coming out next week. The Jack and Steve take on PvP. Spoiler alert. That's the name. That's the title. It's actually, I thought it was a really well cut video, and you actually get to see. I left almost the entire port of the PvP in there, and at one point I just cut back and forth between our gameplay, even if we're not doing anything. So you get to watch how Steve is playing. You get to watch how I'm playing. So one thing I would like is critique, obviously, in gameplay from the viewers, but also at one point I would like to be able to go, hey, Friday, here's a list of 4 games, and fifth random one or a fifth other where you could type in if that. See, vote. Sunday we'll assess it. We'll go and we'll pick up the game or do what we need to do, and then play it on Monday as a video series for the following week. And the majority of the people who vote get the win, right? So I would love to be able to do that at some point.
Yeah, and at some point, I also would like to, start doing some fun stuff. Obviously, fiscally, this has to make sense for us, but we want to do it. Start doing things like giveaways, right? So we want to our goal is to get to 100 subscribers by what was it, January or just after
by New Year.
After New Year. So, doing things like playing new games, which is obviously for a smaller channel like us, we have to buy games unless they're free to play. So we don't get early access to anything no earlier than anyone else. But if there's enough of demand for us to get into something, like someone requested that we play COD, someone challenged me and threatened me actually to play COD. I saw that comment. Thank you to our moderator for responding. So now I got to play COD. And that's gonna happen, and I'm gonna wipe the floor with you, buddy. You know who you are.
Yeah, so I already have the game, so I've already pre-ordered it. I'm a fairly good COD player.
I stole it from GameStop today, and then I realized that it was for PlayStation 4, so I returned it.
Oh, okay. Good of you. Good of you. You did the right thing for the wrong reason.
But like Zach said, like if there are requests for us to play games, surveys are going to go up. We want to play the games that people want to see.
As of right now, if you guys want us to play a specific game you think it would be fun for us to play, leave it down below. We'll definitely take all of the thoughts and comments into consideration. And if we end up picking your game, we'll give you a shout out, and we'll put your comment right here. And so we want to be able to do that at some point. Hands up, editing there.
Also, we're probably going to start having people on the show soon. We're probably going to start having guests.
Let's hit double digits before we do that.
Right.
Let's get 10 solid weeks of us bantering back and forth. Unless the 20 be fight.
That's exactly where I was going. It's going to get announced, not if, when it gets announced.
When it gets announced, we'll have someone else. But after that, after we hit 10, then I'm fine having people. I just want us to not get in the habit of having a third person all the time. So we could produce something that I think doing these will actually sharpen the gameplay videos that come out every week.
Absolutely. Get to strategize. No more running gun. We'll finally get you away from that type of stuff, and you'll just start getting your skadoodle on.
What game are we playing that we need a strategy?
Gears. You need a strategy.
I'm not playing Gears.
You're going to play it again, dude.
I don't have it installed.
I'm going to break into your house, reinstall it, and put a sim lock.
You won't even know which computer would be the right computer. There's 2.
I'm going on both. And the one that looks older is obviously the streaming PC.
No.
And okay, so we're pushing the 2-hour marker. I just realized that.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are. We have
in 18 minutes.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then we got plenty of time. Joker.
So, fair warning. We're
Spoiler
not holding
alert.
any spoilers back. If we're going to get into a major plot point, please, if you are offended by spoilers, pause it here, bookmark it, save it to your favorites, make a shortcut on your desktop, come back to it after you've seen the movie. Now that we've weeded those people out, welcome
But like
back.
and subscribe and share the video, please.
Also do that, and give us comments, and give us feedback, and share it on your Facebook, your Twitter, and your
Instagram.
MySpace.
I go on MySpace every once in a while. It's like the Wild West on there.
No, it's all for music now. Yeah, so now that you guys are back, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the movie. Let's get into it.
Right. What'd you think of it?
It was incredible. The movie was absolutely incredible. I know nothing about comic books. Steve really does. So this is going to be a nice little juxtaposition. Words now. I know very little about comic books. I don't like comic book. Any of the Marvel stuff. First, Dark Knight, the one I've seen, and saw the trailer. Steve was like, "I'm going opening night," and I'm like, "I'm there with you." This was before we started the channel. This is before we started the channel. So we were gonna go see it regardless, but it makes a video now. So nice. I thought this movie is like top 3 favorite movies for me all time. I watch a lot of movies. I like movies a lot. I'm not as much as Billy. Shout out Billy.
Hey.
He's an incredible movie buff, and I get a lot of knowledge from him about movies. But I like movies. And
except for Real Steel, he knows nothing about that cinematic classic.
What Real Steel is. I don't know, man. I'm like at a loss for words for it. I want to see it again. I really do. It was, so let's get this out of the way first. It was shot incredibly well. I think it was shot about as perfect as you could have shot that movie to convey how deranged Arthur Fleck was. Right. It was shot like to a T perfect. And on top of that, score was like as close to perfect as you could get.
Absolutely.
You know, did you hear about the controversy with the music choice?
What, with him dancing on the stairs? There was some type of, yes. I believe.
Do we care about it?
There were multiple things that people had problems with, but you know what? I'm not going to give any credence to any of that stuff.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Do we care about it?
Yeah.
Did it affect your opinion of the movie at the time? Does it affect your opinion of the movie now?
No, absolutely not.
Do you think those people who thought that was an outrageous choice of song are just people who wanted to find something wrong with a movie?
Absolutely.
There you go. And you know what? We don't like those people. If you were subscribed, please stay subscribed, but don't ever watch our videos again. But also,
yes.
And if you could comment,
saying nice things.
Yeah, just like give us the copy of the B movie. Give us the entire script of the B. I don't care.
So, dude, here's the thing, right? So the score was amazing.
Yes.
I am not a film major, right?
No, nor am I.
But I know what movies I enjoy, and I know what type of films I really get into, and I do enjoy comic book movies. And I'm not ashamed to say I am a huge fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I'm not a fan of it because it is the MCU. I'm a fan because I've been reading comic books forever.
Named your dog Marvel.
Yes, but not because of the MCU. That was a part of it. But here's the thing, right? I want DC and other comic book franchises to be good. So the DCEU, the DC Cinematic Extended Universe, was a huge flop.
Okay.
Everyone can agree on that. I did enjoy Batman versus Superman.
Didn't see it.
No need to. Walking into this movie, here's what I knew, right? That the movie was heavily influenced by Scorsese's Taxi Driver, right? A movie called The Comedian. And also, I know a great deal of the many different backstories of the Joker. In this regard, like stuff from The Killing Joke, stuff from The Dark Knight, because there's actually The Dark Knight Returns, a comic book. There's a scene where the Joker is supposed to be rehabilitated. He comes out to a studio audience speaking to a talk show host, very similar to what we see. Yeah, what we see in the movie. But when I saw that Joaquin Phoenix was playing it, I didn't have an overly huge reaction. I was just like, oh, he's a great actor.
Right.
And I knew right then and there, I'm like, but he's also the type of actor that would not get involved with something that was cheesy. So that's why I was like, I'm going to see it opening night. And I remember when the teaser trailer dropped, and I watched it. And you know this.
Was that the one that he was dancing on the stairs?
Yes. And I watched it literally 30 times that day. Because the music was amazing, and I just knew we were walking into something special. Now, when we got to the theater,
hold on. You want to lay the day out? Let's lay the day out. Day was perfect. Long day at work.
Long day.
Long day at work.
Horrible day, if I remember correctly.
Horrible day at work. All days at work are horrible. Let's be honest. Horrible day at work. Up in Canada, teaching special needs children.
Yes.
Mathematics.
Right. Right.
Awful day. Then or a hard day. We all got pooped. We get out. We go have a good meal.
Yes.
Right. I think that may have even
Oh man,
enhanced it.
what was the name of that place? We should shout them out right now. Dude,
No, we shouldn't. They're not paying us.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. Shout out.
Listen, give me a little bit of money. Give me a
Shout
free
everything.
meal once every other week. I'll wear your shirts. I'll wear your shirts in public.
Right.
Anyway, fantastic meal. I think that set the mood for it though, because I wasn't hungry after. I wasn't like, man, I wish I would have had something else. I thought it was perfect. We go into the theater. I don't get popcorn. I don't get a drink. I get nothing. I don't sit down and watch this. So walking into the theater, Steve.
Walking into the theater, it was a perfect type of ambiance. We didn't have too rowdy of a crowd. I was worried at first when I heard that one yuckster that's always in every audience is like, this guy's gonna keep talking. I'm gonna have to choke him out during the movie. And then, we got through the trailers, and once the movie started, from opening scene with him talking to the therapist to the crescendo of the film, I was literally on the edge of my right.
Yeah,
And the reason
I'm
I was
angry I paid for a full seat because I only needed the front half.
exactly. And dude, there were points where I kept looking at you during the movie, and I gotta be honest with you, the full weight of the movie hadn't set in until I was driving home, tried to go that night.
Yeah.
And I could not sleep because I was like, man, that was intense,
Yeah.
bizarre, and it did what it
Dark
was supposed to do.
and
Dark,
heavy, and it made you feel.
Exactly, and it made me think. And when in retrospect, comparatively, and I'm not scared to do this, I had not felt that way since I saw Heath Ledger's.
I thought
Because
it was
I remember
way better than Heath Ledger's Joker.
Listen, I'm not gonna have people kicking this door in.
Go ahead,
I will say,
kick the door in. I thought it was better, dude.
I will say this. I will say this about the two. The tension was equal in my mind because there's a scene when you go to the Dark Knight, and there are two scenes actually when Heath Ledger as the Joker goes on his monologues, and right when he's explaining where he got the scars from, and there's this music, this eerie music playing in the background, where it builds attention. When Joaquin's Joker is sitting next to Robert De Niro, and I knew, remember when we were going to see this, I said something horrible is going to happen in this scene because I know that there's no way it's not.
Yeah.
And dude, when he's sitting there, there's this one bizarre laugh he lets out.
Oh, dude, you sent me this, and I don't remember what I was doing, but I couldn't sleep. Like, it was a bizarre laugh, but it was
eerie.
You had heard the Joker laugh before this.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
I think one of the key overarching stories behind the scenes of the movie is how his laugh, the uncontrollable laugh that he has, transitions over the entire movie.
Yeah.
From Arthur Fleck to the Joker, right?
Yep.
But it had transitioned fully till that scene. And he goes back, and there's a speck of Arthur Fleck left in that laugh. And then that's it.
You know
what? Gone.
And you know what? It also reminded me of that moment. So it's up on YouTube, but again, if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert. Robert De Niro's character had made another joke at the expense of Arthur, and Arthur has a tendency to laugh, compulsively from his head injuries, but also to make himself more assimilated into human interactions.
Right.
And this was not that. This was actually a laugh that was more akin to
he knew what he was gonna do.
It was predatory, like it was very predator like in the sense where he's like,
him make up his mind.
And it was evil, and that's what I love about the Joker, right? So there were so many incarnations, what people want him to be, and this is why those people who had a hard time with the movies, and I'm not even going to name the subcategory of those people because I don't want that type of smoke on this channel, because I don't want it, if the channel is going to grow, I don't want it to be because of that.
Sure.
But the movie's overarching theme is you have a hand in the monsters you make, right? No matter what political sphere you stem from, we all play a part in and we don't want to see that. We don't want to see that, like, it's not that Arthur Fleck was an innocent guy, but there were things that led up to
right from the beginning. Right from the beginning, when the kids steal his sign and hit him with it and jump him in the alleyway. Right.
Yes.
but I don't think his tendency at that point was to get revenge, right? He
No,
wanted the sign back so he could give it back because that's what he knew he had to do.
dude, exactly.
Once he
Yeah,
got the gun in his hand, like almost the next scene, then he had this smile on his face, and you
yeah,
see his character transition from, I would say, innocent in the beginning. He is an
yeah,
innocent guy who is probably trying his best to be assimilated into the general population
yeah,
and feel better and try to feel good about himself. And that happened.
yeah.
And he didn't feel hatred, he felt sad. And he gets the gun and then home, and he's the scene when he's dancing with the gun and he
Oh,
is
that's amazing.
a very funny scene, but it's
Yes.
also foreshadowing to what he's gonna do with the
Yeah,
right. That first shot to kill the one of the three guys on the subway was probably an accidental shot. The
yeah.
second guy he killed was not, and the third guy he killed was deliberate.
Was for sure not. It
Right.
was for sure not. And here's the crazy thing about that, right? So there's another movie, I told you to watch this when you get a chance. There's a movie Falling Down, which is very much in the same spirit. A guy who has a really bad day, and that's one of the things that in this one iconic comic book called the Killing Joke. The Joker tells Batman the one thing that separates you from me is one bad day, right? And Arthur
Yes.
just had a series of bad days,
Oh,
but
this falling down movie. I've seen the trailer for it. I actually one of my viewers maybe I
right.
didn't think it was. It is so
Dude.
funny. I didn't.
Dude, I'm telling you, Michael Douglas has never been better in that movie. Dude, but the crazy, so I will say this, man. Like, I think the reason the movie got such a visceral response from people of one certain leaning politically or philosophically was because, you know, all right, so you take into consideration Gotham and you take into consideration the way Gotham's always been portrayed in all the Batman movies, and
Yeah.
you don't even have to be a cop, but like it's portrayed as a kind of hell on earth. For
Yeah.
God's sake, in the first Dark Knight, in the first Batman Begins movie, Ra's al Ghul wanted to wipe it out because of the level of corruption in the city, and they very much keep that spirit in this. You see that there's a huge chasm between rich and poor. You get a different look at Thomas Wayne, who, by the way, was not in my mind. People were very disturbed that they portrayed Batman's dad as kind of a villain, but I was like, no, this is just kind of realistic for a guy of his stature, right?
Sure.
He's right, and considering the late '80s, this is nothing different that and
Then
early
what would
'80s
have?
that
Yeah. What would have happened? Yeah. Yeah. That
what
makes
what
sense.
what had actually been said. So I thought that was great. It gave us a different look. Also, the directors and the writer did such a good idea of drawing elements from the comics. So that Thomas Wayne, in my opinion, I talked to Pete about this too, him being dark, there's another alternate universe called the Flashpoint universe where Bruce Wayne gets killed and his dad becomes Batman, but he becomes this brutal version
Okay.
of Batman that has like no qualms killing. And when you read that and you see this Thomas Wayne, it's always good when the writers give a head nod to the comics. So I enjoyed that. Didn't get much of action out of Bruce Wayne's mother in this movie, but
Not at
I
all.
did
None. She
like I
stood
did
there and got
love.
murdered.
Exactly, but and in contrast, Thomas and we got Arthur's mom who's writing these letters, and every part of that, I was just like, "Oh man," it just wrenched my gut because I
Uh,
knew what was coming, dude. It's
yeah.
like I
Yeah.
knew what was
There
coming,
were a
dude.
few scenes that I didn't know, right? I don't have any prior knowledge of the entire comic book series, right? So there was a point where they were like, no, Thomas Wayne's your dad. And I'm like, that's an interesting twist. Like, I had no
Yeah,
idea. And then that scene when he's in was it the hospital where he gets the records or the asylum,
yeah,
whatever it was? That
great
was
scene.
like, whoa, okay. That sends him into the best scene in the entire movie is
Yep,
when you get the flashback of him talking to this woman that he thought he was dating. She's not there through the entire thing. That was
yep,
the most intense scene of that.
yep,
It was crazy. I was like,
yeah.
whoa.
Shout out to Zazie Beetz. She did amazing in this movie. part, but she's always great. That's she plays the young lady.
Sure.
That was amazing. And again, his grip on reality is really starting to be exposed, and it kind of makes
Yeah.
you feel for him because he has to. His delusion is so deep that he's created this reality.
So, but then that made me struggle to believe the rest of the movie because that
Right.
happens, and then he gets the call to go on the show, the Murray show, right? Was it that like it was he gets the call after the delusion is revealed, or is it
No,
before
he gets the call before while he's sitting. So no, actually. So what happens is the video Maury plays the video of him
while
at
his
the
mother's in the hospital?
right, and then I think the soon after that happens that he gets the call because he actually got the call before.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Call while the mother's in the hospital, like the first night. Then, um, the delusion is cleared after he goes and gets the file. Then he goes and kills his mom.
Yes.
And that scene where he gets in the refrigerator, I didn't quite understand. What's the meaning behind that scene? Do you know?
It's so again, we're talking about internet a lot of people think it's like some type of symbolic chrysalis, like he's going into a cocoon and reemerges. Some people think that he died when he goes into the refrigerator, and that the rest of the movie playing out is just like a hallucination before death. That's absolute nonsense. Doesn't make
Sure.
sense. But yeah, some people just think it's symbolic. Also, you know what's a really haunting scene from the movie? This is my favorite scene. I'm calling it. Right before he goes out on stage, I didn't know how to feel about the interpretational dance after he killed those
Oh, it
guys.
gives me chills, dude.
Yeah, but when he, like, kinda, like, slips into himself and starts moving and you just start seeing
Yeah.
it reminded me of another movie, one of my favorite movies, Fight Club, where Edward Norton's character says, well, actually, Brad Pitt says to Edward Norton's character, "You were just slowly letting yourself become more and more Tyler Durden," and that's what was happening
Huh.
with Arthur. But also, I wish you would have read the comic books because there's something very intentional about the Joker too, which I have to keep in mind, like he wasn't becoming anything. He was just becoming more of who he actually was.
That's fair. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because the medication only suppressed what was
The
already
actual
there.
feeling. Right, right. That's
Yeah,
fair. That
yeah,
scene is really good. That entire sequence of scenes when he's riding the train there, the cop gets
yes,
killed.
yes. Oh,
Goes to the,
that is perfect. Sorry, go ahead.
hold
Yeah, I
on. You
forgot
know
what
what
you
that
said.
scene reminded me of? The Warriors.
Yes.
Yeah, when they're all running out of the stadium. That scene, I was like,
Yes.
wow, that's actually really good, and it has to be a nod to it
Yeah.
because it's set almost in that same era, time period, place, right? So I would
Yes.
think that there's a nod there to that.
Yes.
But then he gets away with the mask and goes up the stairs, gets on the Murray show, and then like does that dance, and that dance was
Perfect.
perfect. Dude, hold on,
And
so
that's
can
why.
we comment on the fact that Joaquin Phoenix 2 years ago was a chubby man? and
Yes.
and was emaciated for this movie. You
Yes.
can attest to this. Every time he was on screen in a weird angle where you could see his ribs jetting out, I audibly groaned because it was
Yes.
painful to see because it was like, wow, you have to be dedicated to your craft to want to do that to your body, especially when 2 years ago you were a chubby man in that movie where you're killing pedophiles.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's the movie. Okay, what's the name of that
Time's
movie?
Up or something?
You are not.
Oh, you
What
were
is
never here?
You Were Never Here? Yes, and that's another
You
movie
were
that
never
a lot.
really here.
Yeah, that's another movie that people said that they saw elements of in this. But I gotta be honest with you, man. That's why that scene. Okay, so the chronologically, what you just laid out is why I believe and know that it's not a delusion. If they ever did a sequel, they would reveal that because I actually believe he was apprehended after the Maury thing. Because just think about what you said
He
right
was.
before.
No, he for sure was. He was in the car. Remember? The
Yes,
scene after that, he's in the car, and that
yeah,
car gets hit by the ambulance, which
and I
is
think
a crazy scene, too. That's a jarring scene. They did
it's
that scene
amazing.
really well, too.
Yeah, there's actually a great still shot on the internet of when he stands up in front of the fire, and someone caught it perfectly. But
Yeah.
chronologically, that's why I know it wasn't a delusion because the cops were chasing him in the train station.
Uh huh.
That riot, the little riot ensues.
Yep.
They get almost critically injured. He goes on, kills those people,
Uh
gets
huh.
apprehended because he sat there like a psychopath when the cops showed up and took him.
He did. He never got up.
Yeah, ambulance runs and hits, and I'm sure he was apprehended by the cops again right then and there.
Wait, he
I
does get up and he goes to the camera and starts speaking into the camera.
Right,
right at the end.
he goes into the camera, starts speaking to the camera, but I'm saying that the cops caught him there,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then the ambulance, runs into the cop car. He gets his proud moment where he does which I can't prove any of this. This is totally subjective. I think that was a great nod to Heath Ledger's Joker because
Yeah,
that was a
no, for sure.
running theme of how he got the smile and stuff like that, and
Right.
I thought that was
For
great.
sure. That was a really good nod.
Good threat. And then, so I think he got captured after that, and he's recapping the whole thing when that woman is talking to him. A lot of people took issue with that scene at the end,
That scene was really
knowing that
good.
where he had killed the therapist.
Yeah.
I was surprised by how many people, and there was a particular reason they took issue with it. But
So before, because we're gonna get off of that scene very quickly, I feel someone, I think it was Shane, told me that, do you know what the joke he's laughing at?
what?
Is that he knows who Batman is. He
So
knows the identity of Batman.
so
That's the
here's what
joke he's laughing at.
I've heard that theory too. Here's what I'm saying. I would not be mad if they made a sequel and there was some type of time hop right before he would have to have been locked up in Arkham for quite some time for Bruce Wayne to grow up enough to
20
become
years.
to become Batman. There was already a huge age gap. So that would make Joker like
Yeah.
60
70.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, 60 or 70. I wouldn't be mad at that. I would be mad, however, if they went in the direction of, oh, this wasn't actually the Joker. He inspired the Joker. I would cease to watch those movies in the theater.
That would be good, dude.
No, I can't get in for that type of stuff. What I think he's laughing at is literally that this is just my opinion. That he finally just let go and recapping it all in his head, and that's why he's telling her you just wouldn't get it. Like that he's finally
Oh,
just like
yeah, that makes
that
sense.
that he's like just finally free. And that's why I love this movie because it's actually open to interpretation. And that's why I don't
Yeah.
get into the debates about, even though I know I'm right and the internet's wrong as it usually is, but I just so that's it's in my top 3 for sure.
Favorite movies
Logan
of all time?
not favorite movies of all time, but favorite movies about comic book characters.
Okay.
It knocked Logan out of my number 1 spot to number 2
Okay.
because if it, just a great movie. And the third one, my third favorite comic book movie that's just jarring is the first Kick-Ass. A lot of people are gonna be mad with that choice. I really enjoyed the first Kick-Ass with Nicolas Cage, and it was just I saw that movie and it was amazing because it blew my mind. But it was a masterpiece, man. And
It really was.
I can go on about it for hours. I'm sorry. Like people who didn't enjoy the movie, if I was to press on them why they didn't like it, it's always got something to do with what it means politically. Like one person told me, like, well, this kind of gives license to mass shooters. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not what it does at all. But if we're gonna say that, did Schindler's List give license to people to dislike Jewish people? Does it give license to people? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like this is a movie about something that makes us all feel uncomfortable, the nature of evil. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
No, you're 100% right. I haven't heard anyone say they haven't liked it yet.
oh,
Um,
it's all over the place. But go ahead.
but I also try. I don't talk about this stuff in like open forums. I'll talk about it with people who I know watch. So
Yeah,
yeah, man, dude, it was so good. If it doesn't get Oscars
an
this year,
award.
it's gonna be a tragedy because
Well,
it
it's
just shows how entirely corrupt that system is.
yeah, and it killed it. And so again, the critics on Rotten Tomatoes gave it a low score. I believe. I have to double
Really?
check. I
I
believe
heard
so.
pre release, Rotten Tomatoes had a perfect score for the joke.
Really?
Yeah, it was 68 by critics and 89.
Yeah. So there's a huge disparity there. One can only speculate why the critics dislike the
These
movie
people,
and why
man.
some. Yeah. But again, man, just looking at this scene of him this picture of him at the top of the stairs, and it's like you don't have to be glorifying evil to enjoy this movie, but it does give you a kind of like a look in it. It's something very uncomfortable to watch someone either become something or become who they really are. And in this woke culture that we live in, where you can, Do you? The Joker did him 1,000. He did him 1,000, dude.
Dude, I'm reading these reviews now, and I have some places I have. Joker movie
Yes.
proves yet again the MCU isn't. I thought it was fun. I can't read these. I'm gonna get
Yep.
legitimately. I would watch it.
Yep. Yeah, I've already pre-ordered it. Thank God it doesn't come out until it comes. The money doesn't come out of the account until it comes out. But I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it again for sure, at least one.
Oh,
So
sorry,
I
sorry,
just
man. I can go on forever about
I
it.
could too though. That like we didn't even talk about the scene where he like his first like really like was second really intentional murder. The one that came
Oh
entirely out of
yes.
malice. That scene was brutal.
Yeah.
Even the funny part of it wasn't enough to make that scene like not
Go away.
super heavy because
Right.
that was so deliberate. That was
Yes.
so intentional that guy got him fired from his clown job, dude.
Yeah, and the
Got him
great
fired
part,
from the clown job.
the great part about that was the little build up between the guys. Like, yeah, I'm just here to make sure we're on the same story, and he's moving closer to him. Like, yeah, that's super important. We got to be on the same story.
Yeah, and he's like,
Yeah.
not even, but he's like behind him, like swinging the knife around, the scissors around, and then just like, yeah, man, the same story. Yeah! And he's like, ugh! And then he just okay. So the part that was funny that shouldn't have been funny is he kills the guy, bashes his head into the wall, and then like he's like, and then just does it a few more times. I thought that was hilarious because it was trying to lighten the mood of that scene because that scene was a major point in that movie.
And that dude was, and again, if we're talking fictionally, and we have to be responsible, right? There are going to be people to consume the stuff that we're saying. If we're talking about a fictional piece of work, and
Right,
in the
that's
context,
in the
in the con,
context, right? It's a
in the con,
movie.
it's that guy. There was something going on with his character that made me immediately uncomfortable. His first interaction with Arthur, when he kept referring to him as his boy, and I was just like,
Yeah,
ugh.
that guy was weird. Yeah, for sure. That guy was
Yeah,
weird, and he like gave him a gun, and then like
yeah,
he was that person who would do like yo, you should go do this thing, and then rat you out from underneath you to do it. That I don't like
absolutely,
specifically, but there was something else going on as to why he was a clown. You can make your
yeah,
implications off of that phrasing. Uh,
yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
I think if you didn't like the movie, you were intentionally going into the movie to not.
And I think it served its purpose to be divisive. And again, shout out to Joaquin Phoenix. If they do a sequel, I wouldn't be mad at it, depending on the direction. Now, I have my buddy over at the Fat Mantis channel. We were talking about this, and he was telling me that he thinks that they could tie it into the Robert Patterson Batman that's coming out. I don't know if you're aware of this Robert
I
Patterson.
saw it.
Yes,
Yeah.
and this is supposed to be a more, people are really excited for this because it's going to be a, not a darker take on Batman, but a more detective accurate take. And they're
Okay.
trying to say that somehow these things are tied together. I wouldn't be mad at that. I would like to see how this Batman plays out, but if this is an indication of the storytelling that's going to be coming out of DC based off of this Joker movie, I'm excited for it.
Paul Dano got a
Yes, and that's a good sign because that dude is super creepy. That dude, like, and he again, he's another great method actor. So, and it's, you know what? It's good to see all these actors jumping into these comic book roles,
yeah.
right?
It legitimizes it. People like
Jennifer Lawrence, who stands in judgment of everything good and great, which is the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I
What does
was
she think?
thinking who was the director that just came out against the MCU?
Scorsese
Was it
himself.
Scorsese? Yeah. He said that
Yeah.
it wasn't cinema. It wasn't film. Yeah,
He's all,
the hell with that.
and-
Um
and him and Spielberg also hated on Netflix before it came out, and
Oh,
Scorsese.
yeah, and Stern hates on podcasting because they make more money than he does. Everyone hates the things that do better than what they're doing because they think they're the best. I understand that. We've all been there. Another honorable mention, Arcs does an incredible Joker laugh. He wanted it to be featured on the show. I couldn't quite make that happen. I'm sorry. He sent it to me, but it was in a Snapchat, so I couldn't replay it. I had to screen it first, because sometimes he says some things in Snapchats aren't good for general consumption. He'll go on some rant about some football player and how he hopes he gets fucking mono or something. It goes down deep. He does a really good Joker laugh. He liked the movie too, so
We can't get a little snippet of it. You can't
I
just like
literally can't replay it. I tried. I had to screen it. I had to screen it first, because every once in a while he'll send some things that are just a little outlandish.
Did he do something outlandish?
No, it screened fine, but it's a Snapchat, so then it goes away. He sent it in our group chat, and it goes away.
See, I don't understand the Snapchats, man.
You send a message, and it goes away.
Yeah, see, that's the type of place that the Joker would thrive. Apparently,
He does a really good Joker laugh. I give him that. He does an incredible Joker laugh.
Last thoughts on the movie.
I want to see a sequel, but not in the same vein that you do. I want to see a sequel of him in the asylum and how he turns the asylum bad, how he turns Harley Quinn. I want to see that. I need to go back and watch all of Joaquin Phoenix's movies now.
Yes.
That was incredible.
He was great.
And if you haven't seen it and you think you're not going to like it, don't be an idiot. Go see it. See it. Go see it with an open mind. Don't go in thinking there's a stigma around it. Don't go in thinking you're not going to like it. Go in and watch the movie, because it's just that. It is a film. It is a movie. Nothing more than that. But it is a very good one.
Yes. I think my final thoughts on it. I actually like your sequel idea a little bit better now that I think about it. I'm gonna go back and watch. What's the movie that he was in when he's killing the pedophiles?
Oh, you were not really here. You were never really here. Well, I just looked it up a minute ago, and I forgot it already.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and watch that one. And I guess my final thoughts on the movie are, for it not to be a horror film, it definitely terrified me in all the right ways for me to enjoy the movie. And
for sure.
I hope we get to see more stuff like this. Actually, I'm going to be completely honest with you, Zach, man. This is a great time to be a comic book fan. And I'll close with this. The reason is, we have read these books for years and tried to think what representation on the screen would look like.
Yeah.
And I don't care what you say about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Kevin Feige, he did it. He pulled it off. Like he did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then, DC struggled for a little bit, but they pulled it off.
This is a good rebound for sure. If they can make, I've said this 100 times, I know very little about comic books, but DC has really good villains. Yes. I don't care about Superman. He is the most powerful being ever. I don't really care about Batman. He's the most powerful being ever. And I said that like that specifically because those two go back and forth and they kind of beat each other every once in a while. They have really good villains.
Yeah.
All over the place. Don't care about Lex Luthor, let's be honest. That guy, he's just a bald guy. Angry. And we've already gotten Lex Luthor a number of times. It just never worked out. But the dark villains in that universe are really good.
Yeah. And it makes you want to go back and, I was never, as a kid, I was a fan of Jack Nicholson's Joker, but now it's just too campy.
Yeah.
But if you ever want to go back and see something really chilling, with the caveat that it's going to be camping, watch the second Batman movie with Michael Keaton, with Danny DeVito playing the Penguin.
I've seen it.
And that movie, and for me, Tim Burton did so great in that movie because that is way darker. Watching what the Penguin went through, because you empathize with what he's going through, but then it turns on you, like, whoa, this dude's a monster.
Very short, round monster.
And you feel that way for Arthur. It's like, man, you feel for him until you realize, oh wait, this guy doesn't.
But he knows what's going on.
Yeah, go check out the movie when it comes out. Watch it again. Shout out to Thanos from the MCU. We love you, Thanos.
Sure, I don't even get the reference, unfortunately. Cool. Thanks everybody for watching. Remember to subscribe. If you make it this far, you're a real one for sure.
Yeah.
If you make it 2 hours into this video and you were here, leave a comment. Just type in 2 Hour Club. Just leave us a comment of 2 Hour Club. Know you're a real one. you get special praise on the next episode. We appreciate everyone watching. We the original 34. I think that's it. Have a great night.